How's it going, you 110 beautiful Big Ten football fans that are subscribed to this mediocre college football YouTube channel? I can't believe it. We hit 111 subscribers, actually. We hit 110 over the weekend. Last I checked, we were at 111. 2.5 thousand views on our Nebraska video that we just released, Who is Matt Rule? So thank you so much for that. I understand that the joke at the end, which was a joke, kind of got some people right in the Husker. So sorry about that. I don't know if that made any sense, but it was funny in my head. But thank you for watching that. Thank you for being subscribed to the channel. It means a lot to a couple of guys who are just doing this, started out doing this for fun and then thought, maybe we'll see where it goes. Who knows? Maybe we'll be doing this full time. Maybe in 20 years we'll be the next ESPN. I don't know. I certainly haven't put a ton of thought into that. But for right now, I wanted to talk about what's going on with what was easily the best video game ever put out by EA Sports, in my humble opinion, because I've tried Madden, I've tried the NBA games, I've tried other EA games at this point. Pretty much everything that I've played from EA in the last 10 years has been just complete trash. Actually, I shouldn't say that. I liked some of the Battlefield games. Those are fun. But EA is kind of, certainly with the Madden series, kind of on a downward spiral right now. I mean, the Madden games are like, what, 80, 70 bucks when they come out. The special editions, I saw like one at GameStop, which was like $100 some odd, and it's just complete trash. Like the game breaks, doesn't actually even work all that well on release. So, man, I could start a whole channel about video gaming and just have it be videos of me complaining about the fact that video games are 80 gigs, sometimes 100 gigs, take literal hours or entire nights to install. You know, back in my day, when I had an original Xbox or even an Xbox 360, you could just put the game in and play it, you know? You and your buddy went over to GameStop, you went over to Blockbuster, remember that was a thing? Pick up a video game, take it home, literal same day you could play it. Not anymore. Not anymore. The new Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, when I first got it, I downloaded it, I was all excited to play. It wasn't done installing for like 4 hours. I mean, I'm pretty sure by the time it was done installing, I was too old to find video games fun anymore. I'm just kidding. I still find video games fun. And one of the video games that I found really fun, especially in high school, was NCAA 14. Easily the best version of the game that they had ever put out. It was awesome. It felt really cool. It felt really real at the time. The graphics were awesome. The gameplay was really cool at the time. It felt at the time it was a really realistic game. Some of the recruiting features and stuff like that I thought were a little wonky, but it was the most straightforward version of the recruiting engine, I thought. And I didn't really play the other ones a ton. I played 2005 and then 2008 and then 2010 and kind of skipped a few because I didn't want to buy the games at full price. So I would always wait a few years and buy prior versions. So I didn't play them a ton because I held on to, my money, because even back then games were $50 just starting when they first came out. But anyway, I thought it was a pretty cool game, and I love the game, actually. I've been wanting to play it here for a while, but we don't have the 360 hooked up. We've got the Xbox One S hooked up, and it's not compatible with Xbox One S. What the heck, guys? Get on that. Anyway, so they announced a new NCAA football game because the NIL stuff is legal now. They can actually, do this sort of thing, and immediately it gets screwed up. I mean, they announce it, everybody goes nuts, it's awesome, we're all excited and all of that kind of stuff. I'm going to follow this guy real quick because I forgot to follow him. We're all excited, we're thinking, our dreams are coming true, we're getting a college football game for the first time in 10 years, this is fantastic, and immediately they're like, we're going to screw everything up with, with like money and lawsuits and yada, yada, yada. So we got this from Pete Nakos. Sorry, Pete, if I mispronounced that. The NIL agency operating collectives at Kentucky and USC has released a statement backing TBG's lawsuit with EA. Who is TBG? Well, we'll get into that in a minute. It also reps Florida's Graham Mertz and Kentucky's Devin Leary. Quote, it's time to embrace a more equitable system that empowers athletes. Really getting sick of this word equitable. It's ruining everything for everybody. But anyway, let's check out the story here. I'll fix this for the window. Nope, not that way. Other way. There we go. All right. So this from On3. Athlete Advantage releases statement supporting Brander Group's lawsuit with EA Sports. TBG, the Brander Group. That's who that was. So, of course, they had to sue EA Sports. All right. Now, this is basically, I'll just talk. I read this part. It's boring. You won't care. So I'll just sum it up for you real quick. This is about the Brander Group releasing a statement in commiseration. Oh, shoot. What's the word? Solidarity. In solidarity with, who is it? The Brander Groups. So this is Athlete Advantage released a statement backing the Brander Group's lawsuit of EA Sports, saying, quote, this lawsuit represents, here, I'll even highlight it for you. This lawsuit represents a pivotal moment in the pursuit of justice and rightful compensation for these talented athletes, and Athlete Advantage is honored to stand alongside the Brander Group in this crucial fight. They didn't even spell Brander right. You got to get an E in there. Otherwise, it's just Brander, the agency said. So the Brander Group is suing EA Sports for the, and I had to look this word up. I had to look it up. So real quick, I'll read the sentence. The Brander Group is suing EA Sports for, it's pronounced tortious, interference over the gaming company's attempt to retain players' rights while evading the Brander Group's licensing contract with more than 54 Division I institutions. What does this mean? I don't really know. It's a very poorly worded sentence, in my humble opinion. What is tortious, though? I just pronounced it, so this is not going to mean as much as I hoped it would, but I'm going to do it anyway. Here's how it's pronounced. Okay, tortious. Hopefully you could hear that. I played it on the computer. It means constituting a tort or wrongful. Constituting a tort. Okay. So, let's go down to the actual issue. So Athlete Advantage and Brander Group call for fair payout. So details of the agreements are still murky, but a source indicated to On3 at the time cash pool was in the $5 million neighborhood. On3, do you edit your stories? I mean, come on. All right, which would pay out to $500 per player. All right, $500 per player. That doesn't seem like much, but you're talking about one video game that would be paying out to tens of thousands of athletes, I believe. So, I mean, if you have so athletes will reportedly not make royalties off the game either. No, of course they wouldn't, because they would be making pennies. Peanuts. Packing peanuts, maybe even. I don't know. They would not be making enough money for me to think that this would be worth it. Okay, there are tens of thousands of student athletes that would be on this game if all of them wanted to be a part of it. I think that they even have to say that they want to be a part of it. They have to join one of these collectives, either Athlete Advantage or the Brander Group. I'm really not sure. I think it's one of them that is specifically handling, maybe this will be later in the, actually, let me just make the point and then it might be later in the story. So I think you have to join one of these collectives, one of these Athlete Advantage or Brander Group in order to even be in the game. I'm pretty sure. So, okay, let's just read on. So, athletes will reportedly not make any royalties. Since then, the College Football Players Association called for a boycott of the game, and the Brander Group's lawsuit called the payout far below market value. Well, you know, it probably is, but if you're talking about royalties and them being kind of the payout of royalties being kind of screwed up, then you should talk to independent musicians, because they've been getting screwed over by the music industry for a very long time. They do not make much of anything, and they probably should make a lot more than what they're being paid. These football players, okay, opinion time. These football players are allowed to profit off their name, image, and likeness. So that should be where the bulk of their payment comes from for playing football at a university, especially Division I. This EA Sports royalty thing, to me, should be more of the cherry on top. Like, this should be one of the little perks that they can do. Something fun, like, oh yeah, I've got my NIL, which is great, and it's paying for a new car or a house for mom, I don't know, or new shoes, I don't know, whatever you want to buy with your NIL. But also, I am licensed with EA Sports, and I'm in their video game, and I got $500 for it. It's pretty cool. You get $500 for every, maybe it's $500 for every game that you're in. So if you're in school for 4 years and you're on the game, I mean, that's $2,000. Invest that in a Roth 401k, and eventually you'll have more than $2,000. It's only fair that they receive fair compensation for their contributions both on and off the field. They are. By supporting the Brander Group and the athletes involved in this lawsuit, Athlete Advantage aims to amplify their voices and advocate for long overdue reforms in college sports. Guys, it's a video game. I mean, come on. This was never supposed to be the bulk of your NIL. I get it. You know, everybody wants to make sure that they're getting their fair share, but it's a video game. All right. This will be the first EA Sports college football game since 2013. It will also be the first video game that FBS athletes have been given the opportunity to benefit from their NIL. The origins of NIL trace back to the late 2000s when former UCLA basketball player Ed O'Bannon and 19 others sued the NCAA, arguing violated antitrust laws by not allowing athletes to make a share of revenues generated from the use in their broadcast and video games. Quote, as an agency dedicated to fairness and equal treatment. Come on. Athlete Advantage calls upon all stakeholders in the sports industry to support the rights of college athletes. They make it sound like they're I don't even know. They make it sound like they're oppressed. I mean, yeah, the players should be allowed to be paid. The way that NIL has been rolled out is disastrous. I mean, it's a lot of people have compared it to the Wild West. It's something that like should have been explored, but there should have been rules on it. Okay, because some of these kids are, I believe it was Quinn Ewers signed an NIL package that if he then went in the first round in the NFL draft, it would actually be a pay cut or something like that. Maybe I have that wrong. I don't know, but I thought I read that somewhere. But the point being is that these kids are making millions of dollars. So the fact that they say that, I guess, okay, I'm reading this as a person who does not make millions of dollars a year. Maybe eventually with this YouTube channel. I don't know. Maybe. But I don't right now. And I'm looking at this and I'm thinking they're upset because they already have an opportunity to make millions of dollars. Now, not every player is going to be able to make that. The quarterbacks definitely have a better shot at it. But certainly your position depends on, or the amount of NIL that you will be able to achieve depends on your position, the school that you go to, the notoriety of the team, the prestige of the team. Sure, like there are a lot of aspects into it. But let's not pretend that these kids don't already get free rides to a degree. They get a whole bunch of other NIL-related perks and stuff like that. They already get paid at this point. So the video game was not supposed to be anything more than just a cherry on top. But they're treating them like they're oppressed because, they might get these millions of dollars, but they should get millions more from the video game. And if they don't, then it's, issue of college rights of college athletes. It's unequitable. I mean, you know what's unequitable is the fact that just because they're a college football player gets them into a video game. What about me? I mean, I created a quarterback in NCAA 2014, and I mean, it was a 99 overall. You know, and I can neither confirm nor deny that's based on any semblance of reality, but in the game, he was a 99 overall. So put me in the game and give me my $500. I'll take $500. That sounds great. Take an extra $500 any day. So it's time to embrace a more equitable system that empowers athletes. I mean, okay, sure. Yeah, they should get paid for their efforts. NIL is the things that you see in NIL are so ridiculous. I mean, the amount of money that some of these kids are making is just insane. And then the fact that, it's inevitable that certain positions will be valued more than others. And so there's going to be, in my mind, there'll be like a ton of infighting on the teams, quarterbacks versus their own offensive linemen. I mean, what happens if that kind of thing happens? Quarterbacks are making millions of dollars. The linemen can barely get a NIL deal with the local car dealership. So is there going to be a bunch of infighting on the teams? And is that going to bring a whole bunch of teams down? I don't know. I really don't know. A lot of kids have even come out and said that NIL had nothing to do with their decision. It was more about their future, which is great. I like that. I think that's a good thing to do. I think that a smart college football player will be one that gets his degree and then goes to the NFL. And if the NFL doesn't work out, they've got a degree. If the NFL does work out, then hopefully they went to a place that prepared them for a lengthy career in the NFL. And I think that's what it should be about. The NIL stuff is a cherry on top for, well, it's not a cherry on top. The NIL stuff probably should have happened because, yeah, I mean, as we saw from the TV deal that Fox made with the Big Ten, something like a few $1 billion, like there's some money that should be given to the people actually producing the product, which is, in part the football players. But the football players through NIL are just going to end up becoming vehicles of advertising. That's why they're getting deals with car dealerships and, Nike, and those two are very different things, but you get the idea. They're just becoming advertisers for these different companies. They're becoming influencers of sorts. Because I work in marketing, and so the reason that there's so much money going to these kids is not because they're actually bringing the same amount of value back to the school or even more so. It's because they're signing these deals with local businesses or national or international businesses, and they're getting paid for their marketing efforts, for their influencer efforts, not because they're actually making that money for the school. Now, obviously, there is money made for the school because the talent is still on the field. The product is still on the field, and that product is still produced by the school. I mean, the actual football team is produced, but the millions and millions of dollars that you're seeing are coming from licensing deals, not from collectives owned or operated by anyone affiliated with a university. For the most part. I mean, I guess I could be wrong. There might be some collectives out there that are securing $1 million deals for all of their players, but those I haven't seen anything like that happening. I've only ever seen NIL deals in the millions of dollars that are with specific national or international companies or even Texas, because for some reason Texas paid some company in Texas, I think, paid Quinn Ewers a buttload of money, even though Quinn Ewers hadn't even snapped a ball yet. I want to say, or hadn't played a single down of college football yet. Anyway, so to me, this is ridiculous. Just give us the freaking game. And at this point, EA, either just keep the players out of the game and let us just create our own players. Let us create our own school, play the game how we want to play it, and somebody somewhere will build the rosters on their own time, totally subverting that, and then you'll be able to get those rosters for free anyway, and then you can just play like that. That's what we do on NCAA 14 now. There are people who create the rosters now, and then you just download them, and then you play as your favorite players. I can play as J.J. McCarthy at Michigan right now. It looks like J.J. McCarthy, too. I don't know if this is necessarily moral now because it's technically illegal, I guess, because the NIL, so they should be allowed to make money off of these licensing deals and stuff like that. So the fact that people are able to subvert that might technically make it kind of illegal, maybe even immoral. But am I really about to finish that statement up by saying who cares? I'm not advocating for breaking the law. I'm just saying that if $500 is really not enough to these people, and if they weren't already making, if EA Sports was going to make several billions of dollars off of this game, which, I don't know how much they'll make off of this game. Maybe it will be that much, but they've got their own people to pay. They're actually doing the work. The athletes are just the one providing the name, image, and likeness. Not saying that that's not worth a lot. I'm just saying that it's a video game, the product of which it's a product itself built by EA themselves, using a detail provided by the players. The players are making their money elsewhere, so why was this necessary? It kind of feels like greed on the part of the college athletes, but I guess, I don't know. If I were in that kind of position, maybe I would be saying the same thing. Anyway, I was actually supposed to make this video only 10 minutes, but it's already past 20. So I'm going to just go ahead and cut it here. In the end, I think that this just kind of sucks. And EA is either going to move forward with the game without any players in it, or they might just end up cutting the game altogether and not doing it. But there is this quote up here where it says EA 100% plans to work with the Brander Group. So, I don't know. Who knows? Oh, actually, there's a whole... I'll take another minute. So, there's a whole nother paragraph here that I forgot to go over. So, a management, marketing, and licensing agency, the Brander Group reportedly gives athletes the option to enter into the group licensing deal. The lawsuit alleges that EA promised to enter into direct agreements with TBG at all schools where TBG has rights. EA's chief business officer, Paul Cairns, also stated the company 100% plans to work with TBG. So, okay, that's really a nothing burger right there. There's nothing there to really whatever. So, in the end, I think what I said still stands. So, I'm going to go ahead and cut it there. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Go ahead and like the video if you liked it. If you didn't like it, maybe like it anyway, because, I don't know, that's just kind of a nice thing to do, I guess. And subscribe to the channel, too, because we're taking off, and you definitely want to be on the ground floor when this thing hits the moon. That's all I'm saying. All right, we'll talk to you guys later. See you in the next video.